There's a quiet power in understanding your own emotional landscape.
It isn't about being invulnerable or never feeling pain, rather, it's about developing traits that allow you to navigate life with resilience, clarity, and grace. When we talk about being emotionally unstoppable, we're referring to a state of self-awareness, emotional agility, and inner strength that isn't dictated by external chaos. These are not innate qualities reserved for a select few, they are traits that anyone can cultivate, often rooted deeply in our early experiences, our patterns of thought, and the choices we make every day.
The first trait of emotional unstoppable individuals is self-awareness.
People who thrive emotionally have an uncanny ability to recognize their feelings before they spiral into reactions.
This doesn't mean they overanalyze or dwell excessively on every emotion. Instead, they notice subtle shifts within themselves and underlying anxiety before it becomes panic, a flicker of irritation before it turns into anger.
This capacity often develops from environments where emotional attunement was encouraged, or sometimes, ironically, from environments where it wasn't. A person who grew up in a household where emotions were ignored might learn, out of necessity, to constantly monitor their internal state to maintain balance. In adulthood, this self-awareness allows them to make conscious decisions instead of reacting impulsively, giving them a sense of control that can feel almost liberating.
Closely linked to self-awareness is emotional regulation. Recognizing emotions is one thing, managing them is another.
Emotionally unstoppable individuals have learned, often through trial and error, that feelings are signals, not commands.
They know that anger, sadness, or fear doesn't have to dictate their behavior. This skill often develops in response to challenging life events.
For instance, someone who faced repeated disappointments may have learned to pause, breathe, and assess before responding. Over time, this pattern strengthens neural pathways that support calm, thoughtful responses, even in high-stress situations. In daily life, this manifests as the ability to navigate difficult conversations, maintain composure under pressure, and avoid reactive conflicts that can erode relationships. A third trait is resilience, the capacity to recover from setbacks without losing emotional balance.
Resilience isn't a superhuman trait, it's the outcome of repeated experiences of overcoming adversity.
Psychologists suggest that resilience grows when individuals encounter manageable stressors and learn that they have the resources to cope. Those who are emotionally unstoppable often have a history of small victories over personal challenges, each reinforcing the belief that they can handle the next difficulty. In everyday life, this resilience allows them to recover quickly from disappointment, learn from mistakes without self-condemnation, and maintain hope even when circumstances feel discouraging.
Another essential trait is adaptability.
Life is unpredictable, and those who thrive emotionally have learned to bend without breaking. This trait involves psychological flexibility, the ability to adjust expectations, reframe situations, and find alternative paths forward. Adaptability often develops in environments where change was frequent or unavoidable, teaching individuals that clinging rigidly to a plan can lead to frustration or stagnation. In adult life, this manifests as the capacity to pivot when plans fall through, to see challenges as opportunities for growth, and to maintain optimism when confronted with uncertainty. It's a quiet, understated strength, but it's fundamental to emotional invincibility. A fifth trait is self-compassion, a practice that many emotionally unstoppable individuals cultivate intentionally. Self-compassion is different from self-indulgence, it's the ability to treat oneself with kindness and understanding, especially in moments of failure or vulnerability. Research in positive psychology shows that self-compassion protects against anxiety and depression, providing a stable foundation for emotional well-being. People who are emotionally resilient understand that setbacks are a natural part of being human, and they speak to themselves in the same supportive way they would to a friend. This trait allows them to navigate life's inevitable difficulties without being consumed by guilt, shame, or harsh self-criticism.
Closely intertwined with self-compassion is empathy, the ability to understand and resonate with the emotions of others.
Emotional unstableness is often exacerbated by isolation, disconnection, or a lack of understanding from those around us. By cultivating empathy, individuals not only foster deeper connections but also create a broader perspective on their own challenges. Empathy allows emotionally unstoppable people to respond to others' needs without losing themselves, maintaining boundaries while remaining attuned. This skill often develops in early life through modeling, observing caregivers who respond with understanding, or through personal experiences that demanded deep listening and perspective-taking. In daily life, empathy enables smoother relationships, stronger social bonds, and a sense of interconnectedness that reinforces emotional resilience. Finally, purpose-driven focus acts as the compass for emotionally unstoppable individuals.
When life feels overwhelming, having a sense of meaning provides direction and motivation.
Psychological research consistently links purpose to emotional well-being, showing that people with clear goals experience greater life satisfaction and lower rates of anxiety and depression. Those who are emotionally unstoppable often cultivate a purpose that aligns with their core values, whether it's creative expression, caregiving, advocacy, or personal growth. This purpose anchors them in times of uncertainty, providing a lens through which to interpret challenges as meaningful rather than arbitrary. In everyday life, it allows them to prioritize what truly matters, invest energy in fulfilling pursuits, and resist distractions that might otherwise erode emotional stability. These 7 traits: self-awareness, emotional regulation, resilience, adaptability, self-compassion, empathy, and purpose-driven focus interact in ways that reinforce each other. A self-aware person can regulate emotions more effectively, resilience strengthens adaptability, self-compassion allows for empathetic connections without losing personal balance. Together, they form a psychological ecosystem that supports emotional endurance. The beauty of these traits is that they are not fixed. No one is born fully emotionally unstoppable, and no one is irreparably limited. Each trait can be nurtured through mindfulness, reflection, intentional practice, and supportive relationships. You might start small, pausing before responding to a difficult situation, journaling to deepen self-awareness, or setting a clear intention for what matters most in your life. Gradually, these practices reshape neural patterns, reinforcing emotional agility and strength. Over time, the cumulative effect of these small steps is profound, a sense of inner calm, clarity, and self-trust that no external circumstance can easily shake. It's important to recognize that becoming emotionally unstoppable doesn't mean erasing vulnerability or pain. On the contrary, it means approaching your vulnerability with courage, curiosity, and kindness. It means feeling deeply yet responding thoughtfully. It means understanding that emotions are not obstacles but signals, maps to guide you toward growth and connection. By cultivating these traits, you give yourself permission to experience life fully, with its inevitable highs and lows, without being overwhelmed by them. Ultimately, emotional unshakability is not about perfection. It's about embracing the fullness of your human experience while developing the skills to navigate it with wisdom and grace. Each moment of reflection, each act of self-kindness, each attempt to see the world through another's eyes, strengthens this inner core. And as you grow in these traits, you begin to notice subtle shifts. Anxiety that once consumed you now informs you, setbacks become lessons rather than defeats, relationships deepen with trust and understanding. The journey toward emotional unstoppableness is deeply personal, but it is also profoundly liberating. You discover that your emotional life is not a series of unpredictable storms, but a landscape you can explore with curiosity, confidence, and compassion. You learn to honor your feelings without being controlled by them, to set boundaries without closing off connection, and to pursue your purpose without losing yourself in distractions. Each step forward reinforces the belief that you are capable of handling whatever life presents, and that growth, healing, and self-compassion are always within reach. So, as you reflect on these 7 traits, remember that emotional strength is not a destination, it is a practice, a commitment, and a choice made each day. By cultivating self-awareness, regulating your emotions, building resilience, embracing adaptability, practicing self-compassion, connecting through empathy, and living with purpose, you give yourself the tools to move through life with courage, clarity, and unwavering emotional vitality. And in that space, you become, in every sense, emotionally unstoppable.